They say the cries echoed across entire valleys. Summer 1462. Imagine you're an Ottoman soldier marching with the largest, most feared army on the planet. You helped conquer Constantinople. You've broken kingdoms that once looked invincible. Now you're heading into a small region called Wallachia to crush a rebellious prince who shouldn't stand a chance. A simple mission. Or at least that's what everyone thought, but then you smell it. Rot. Death. Something so unfamiliar and sickening that words can't describe it. Your entire column slows. Scouts freeze in their tracks. And as you come over the last hill before the capital, you see them, a forest. But not a forest made of wood. Thousands of human bodies propped high on wooden stakes spread out in perfect rows like some grotesque monument. 10,000, 20,000. No one can count. Some corpses are weeks old, blackened and swollen. Others are fresh, still twitching, still alive, still screaming. The Sultan, the same man who shattered the Byzantine Empire, takes one look and orders an immediate retreat. What kind of person creates something like this? Here's the part no one wants to admit. This wasn't insanity. It was a plan. Calculated, deliberate, and frighteningly effective. The stories you think you know about Vlad the Impaler are the watered-down versions. The truth isn't smaller than the legend, it's far darker. But to understand him, you have to go back to the moment his mind began to fracture. Vlad is 11 years old. His father, Vlad II, also known as Vlad Dracul, has just made a dangerous, desperate bargain with Sultan Murad II of the Ottoman Empire. The deal? Vlad keeps his throne. In return, he hands over his 2 youngest sons as hostages, not political guests, not students. Hostages. Vlad and his brother Radu are dragged away from their home and taken deep inside the Ottoman world. They aren't thrown into dungeons, no. They are placed in royal palaces, given silk, tutors, language lessons, training in combat, philosophy, Arabic, and the Qur, and it looked like privilege. But it wasn't it was grooming, manipulation, a slow-burning psychological cage. For years, young Vlad watched his captors use fear as a tool. Executions in the street designed to terrify entire populations. Punishments crafted to break spirits rather than bodies. And he learned something dangerous. Terror, used precisely, can rule nations more effectively than any army. But he also learned something else. He had no power. None. Radu, his brother, adapted easily and even befriended Mehmed, the future conqueror of Constantinople. Vlad refused. He was beaten, punished, humiliated. Some accounts even hint at torture. Whether or not the details are perfect, one thing is clear. Those years shattered him. Or maybe they forged him. He developed an obsession with control, an idea that if he couldn't dominate his world, it would dominate him. So he studied every punishment he saw, memorized every execution method, stored every lesson in a cold, growing arsenal inside his mind. After 6 years, Vlad is sent back to Wallachia. He's 17. Within 2 months, his father is murdered. His older brother is buried alive by nobles who claim loyalty to whoever benefits them most. Suddenly, young Vlad stands alone, surrounded by traitors, with no allies, no army, and no one he can trust. And this is where his transformation becomes terrifying. He doesn't just want revenge. He wants to rebuild Wallachia into a place where betrayal is impossible, where fear is absolute, where his trauma becomes everyone's reality. For years he waits in exile, training, planning, watching the political games of Europe. And in 1456, with Hungarian support, he finally reclaims his throne, and the world is about to meet the man shaped by fear. Vlad's coronation in 1456 should have been a celebration. A new prince on the throne, music in the halls, nobles dressed in their richest clothes. But Vlad wasn't here to celebrate. He was here to settle a score. He invited the boyar families, the same noble clans responsible for betraying his father, the same people who buried his brother alive, the same powerful elite who swapped loyalty whenever it suited them. Hundreds arrived, smiling, confident, believing they had outlasted yet another ruler. They had survived princes before. They expected to survive this one too. The palace was decorated. Wine flowed. Everyone relaxed. Then Vlad stood, and the room froze. He asked a question that sounded harmless. How many rulers of Wallachia have you lived through? Some answered 7, some 10. A few even bragged they had survived over a dozen different princes. They were proud of it, proud that they had manipulated, betrayed, and outlasted generations of rulers. Vlad smiled. A smile that meant the opposite of what smiles usually mean. He gave a simple order. The doors closed. Guards stepped in. Every boyar who answered was seized on the spot, but Vlad didn't kill all of them. Not yet. The older nobles, the political puppeteers who had orchestrated his family's destruction, were taken outside the palace. And impaled. Quickly. Not mercifully. The stakes were angled and sharpened in a way that avoided vital organs, designed so that the victims would stay alive for hours, sometimes days. Their screams filled the night. The younger, healthier nobles and their families, those physically capable of labor, were marched north to the ruins of Ponari Castle. No horses, no supplies, just forced marching under armed guard. At the castle ruins, Vlad gave them a choice that wasn't a choice. Rebuild the fortress with your own hands, or die here. For months they carried stone after stone up the mountainside. Their expensive clothes turned to rags. Their hands bled. Many collapsed and never stood again. The survivors were forever changed, broken in body and mind. By the time the fortress was complete, Vlad had done something no ruler before him dared to do. He wiped out the old aristocracy, the class that had destabilized Wallachia for generations, and replaced them with people who owed their lives and status to him alone. This wasn't just revenge. It was architecture. Vlad was rebuilding Wallachia from the inside out, carving out a system where he had the only power that mattered. Fear. Vlad didn't want loyalty. He wanted absolute control, obedience, so deep that disobedience wasn't even a thought. The boyars were just the beginning. Wallachia was being reshaped into a kingdom where order came not from laws, but from the fear of what happened when you crossed him. And soon, the Ottomans would learn this lesson for themselves.